other questions? Yes, in the middle.
Besides the equality of marriage, there I think are about a few thousand rights that gay people in the United States don't have, like visitation rights in the hospital, tax law things, property rights. Is this all going to be resolved when they are allowed to get married? Does that then also solve all those other issues? And are there in the Netherlands still issues that are not resolved because they can get married? Is there still some form, somewhere, any inequality in the Netherlands?
You're the expert on the Netherlands.
I'm the expert on the law, but not in the Netherlands. So I'll take a crack at the question at the level of abstraction at which you began, but I won't be an expert on the law in the Netherlands, although I would be surprised if marriage equality meant full equality under the law for all purposes in any country. With respect to the United States law, in which I am an expert, I would say definitely not. So one thing is, first of all, what kind of marriage are you talking about? Because marriage can be recognized as it is in Massachusetts under state law, but not under federal law. And so this leads to the problem that Boris was talking about earlier, where there's a famous representative, Jerry Studs, who was one of the first openly gay members of Congress. He passed away. Under state law, he was married to his partner because he came from Massachusetts. So his death benefits under state law were given to his partner, and his remains were released to him in the hospital. On the other hand, for federal purposes, there was nothing that he could do to pass on his federal employment pension as a government employee of the federal government to his spouse. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about the Defense of Marriage Act, which defines for all federal purposes, including immigration, marriage is between one man and one woman. Now, if we extend the question, we say if we have marriage both under state law and under federal law, does that take care of the problem? And under United States law, the answer is still no. That even if we got the full panoply of rights that are attached to marriage, there would still be particular rights that LGBT individuals would not get. And those would include things like the freedom to be not subjected to employment discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. That's the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, which is being debated in the United States Congress right now, but which is not yet passed. The additional penalties that would be attached to a crime if it were a hate crime, so the freedom to be victimized by a hate crime, that also would not fall under the bucket of marriage. So marriage is a very, very important thing, but it is not the be-all and the end-all. So we have to look beyond the horizon of marriage even as we fight for it.
And don't ask, don't tell.
And don't ask, don't tell would be another. I was actually debating whether or not to add that at the end of my list, but that's very friendly. I take that to be a friendly amendment, which is to say I think that the three big ones for me at the federal level are the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, the hate crimes legislation, and the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, which is a 1994 congressional policy which does not permit LGBT individuals to serve openly in the military.
Yeah.
To answer your question about the Netherlands, after introducing the same-sex marriage bill in the Netherlands, all inequalities were erased, except for one issue, and that is family relationships, sometimes having to do with adoption. We had a same-sex marriage bill and we had a separate adoption bill. And still sometimes, although it's rare, but sometimes there are some inequalities. For instance, if a gay couple or a lesbian couple in the Netherlands wants to adopt a child from another country, it's up to those other countries if they want to give a child up for adoption to a same-sex couple. We see that in the Netherlands, the adoption agencies sometimes do make a difference in reality. So that's still an issue people in the Netherlands, I must say now, need to work upon. There's one thing I would like to add, which you didn't ask, is that what I encounter is that usually people think a country like the Netherlands, where there is same-sex marriage and equality, there is no discrimination against LGBT folks, and that is of course not true at all. Discrimination happens everywhere, all the time, and although your legislation might be in place and might be correct, still it's society that needs to fight against discrimination every day, and even emancipation of LGBT rights, LGBT people, is something we have to strive for every day, because there are new groups in the Netherlands, or let's say very religious groups who don't want to grant the same rights. And so every time we have to be alert and we have to fight for equality every day.